Okay, guys, so today is day 19, and our do now has 3 questions. Our first question says to write the equation of the line that goes through the points that I gave you here. Now let me fix my screen, it's all tilty. There we go. All right, number 1. The 2 points I gave you were -10, -15, and 2, -11. What should we do first, guys?
Do our Y to label.
Yeah, let's label everything. Let's label everything. So I've got x1, x2, and y1, y2. Okay, and then I gave you a little hint. We're going to find slope first. So then, Bree, you were about to tell me what we need to do next. What are we doing next?
We're going to do y2 plus 15.
Yeah, so here I'm going to write my slope formula. M equals something minus something over something minus something.
y2 minus y1.
So y's on top. So we did, what'd you say for number, or for the top?
Do -11 plus 15.
All right, so -11 minus -15, which, guys, that does turn into -11 plus 15, because you see those 2 negatives are right beside each other, and they're gonna join together to become a plus.
And then we're going to do 2 and minus -10, which in turn becomes 2 plus 10.
Perfect. 2 minus -10. My 2 negative signs together are going to make that 2 plus 10. Perfect. And if you forgot that that was a rule, you could have always just typed this in your calculator carefully, and you'll come up with the same answer. So what is -11 plus 15? 4. Positive 4. Good. And what's 2 plus 10? 12. All right. Now, how can we simplify this? Because 4 and 12 are both divisible by certain numbers. Ooh, there's a couple. I heard a lot of numbers. One at a time. Raise your hand, guys. Let me hear you. Bree, what?
4 goes into 12 3 times.
Ooh, yeah, we do know 4 goes into 12 3 times. So what did you do to simplify this, knowing that?
I made it a whole number, just 3.
Okay, so just
4, 8, 12. Yeah, I just.
Ooh, so
okay?
it would be, but you got your number upside down. So
Be 1/3.
it would be 1/3.
Oh.
Yes. So here's what we do. Normally, if I have 2 even numbers, I always like to start, I don't know, let's divide by 2. And that would give me 2 over 6. And I still have 2 even numbers. So let's divide by 2 again. That's going to give me 1/3.
Okay.
So 4 does go into 12 3 times.
So I have it upside down.
Yep, just upside down.
Okay.
Upside down. Does anybody have questions about how we simplified that? We've never explicitly gone over simplifying fractions.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do a quick mini lesson on how to simplify a fraction, because that's something I've never taught you guys. It's more of a prerequisite for algebra, but you know, it's been a long time since we've been in school. So let's just make sure that we're all on the right path here. So I'm going to make you guys a little guide. If you're struggling with simplifying your fractions, let's make a guide together. Simplifying fraction. That's not an F. Oh my Lord. Fractions. My hand has a mind of its own today. We're learning fractions. Fractions. Okay. So, let's say that I come up with an answer of a fraction and it's something like 12 over 36. Anytime that I want to see what my simplest form of a fraction is, what you want to do is see if there is any numbers that will fit equally into both the numerator and the denominator. So whatever your smaller number is, doesn't matter if it's on top or bottom. Let's go with 12 because that's smaller than 36. I'm going to think about all the numbers that I could use to multiply to get to 12. So for example, yeah, I could do 12 or 6 times 2 to get 12. So I know 2 fits in there. I know 4 times 3 fits into 12. I know 3 times 4. I know 6 times 2. And then I know 12 and 1. Those all go in there. So I'm kind of just running through my brain. Now, if you don't know those off the top of your head, here's what you can do. I have 12, and I'm just going to start dividing it by these numbers. Let's see, 12 divided by 2. If I don't get a decimal, then I know, okay, 2 does fit. How about 12 divided by 3? Yep, 3 goes into 12. 12 divided by 4. Yep, 4 goes into 12. 12 divided by 5. Oops, that's 125. 12 divided by 5. Ooh, I get 2.4. So I know 5 is not an option. Then we just kind of keep going. 12 divided by 6. Okay, 2, that works. And then we keep going until we're out of options. So now I want to think about what numbers can fit into 36, for example. So I'm just going to kind of write this out. Okay, so 36 is an even number. So that I know for sure that 2 goes into 36.
12.
Let's see what else goes into 36. 36 divided by 3. Yeah, 3 does. How about 36 divided by 4? Yep, 4 fits. 36 divided by 5. Okay, doesn't fit with 5. 36 divided by 6. Yeah, 6 fits. 36 divided by 7. Nope. 36 divided by 8. Nope. 36 divided by 9. Yes, so I'll put 9 there. 36 divided by 10. Nope. 36 divided by 11. Nope. 36 divided by 12.
Yeah.
That works. Okay, so now I've got all these numbers written down. To get your fraction into its absolute most simple form, you want to find the biggest number in these lists that we have in common. So 2 fits into both of them, but I have numbers bigger than 2, so let's not worry about 2. 3 fits into both, but there's numbers bigger than 3. 4 fits into both, but there's numbers bigger. 6 fits into both, but there's numbers bigger. 9 only fits into 36, so I can cross that one off. I know I'm not going to do 1 because that's not going to do anything to simplify. Looks like 12 goes into both of them. So here's what I would do now. I know 12 is the number that I'm going to divide by. So I'll do 12 divided by 12, and I'll do 36 divided by 12. What is 12 divided by 12? 1. What's 36 divided by 12? 3. So our simplified fraction is 1 over 3. Now there's other ways we could do this. If we don't want to list out all these, I could just keep trying to divide numbers by both of them until there's no more options. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 36 divided by 2, what is that? 18. Then I would think, okay, I still have numbers that can be divisible by the same thing. Let's see. I know I can divide by 2 again, I guess. That would give me 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, so now I have 3 over 9. I know I can take 3 divided by 3. And I can also do 9 divided by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. It's kind of just a slow decreasing process to make sure that you don't have numbers that are bigger than they need to be. We want it in our simplest form. Let me give you another example. I ran through that one kind of quickly. Let's do 14 over 52, giving you a super random number here. Okay. What could I try first to see if this is simplified?
Divide the top number into the bottom.
Yeah, that's always a great first step. Whatever your fraction is, I would just type that in your calculator. I would start by doing 14 divided by 52. And, well, it doesn't fit. So now we got to try something else. Okay, what's a number that we know goes into both of these? 2. Let's try 2. Okay, so I'll divide by 2 on both of these. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 52 divided by 2 is 26. Okay, so I've got 7 over 26 now. So now we just want to make sure that this is the simplest form. So first of all, are these both even numbers? No, 7 is odd. So I can't divide by 2. I can't divide by 3, because 3 plus 3 is 6. So I know that another 3 is going to be too much. Can't divide by 4, because 4 plus 4 is 8. Can't divide by 5. Can't divide by 6. I guess we could try divide by 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 26 divided by 7 is not a whole number. So once we've reached this number 7, and if I cannot find anything that fits there, we are at our simplest form. That's it. We can't simplify that any further. Okay, do we have any questions about that? Do we want to go over any more examples, or are we ready to move forward?
So if you're simplifying it and it has a decimal, that you can't come up with anything but a decimal.
Yes.
What does it get?
So let's say that I did both sides divided by 7. I was like, okay, divide by 7 on both sides, or on top and bottom, and I got 1 over 3.7. I went too far.
Okay.
If I get a decimal on the top or the bottom of my fraction, that means that I went too far and I need to just go back to what I had before.
Okay.
We don't mix decimals with fractions. Okay, any questions at all? And I'm happy to go over more if we need to. I want to make sure everybody feels all right about this. Okay. Michael, how you feel?
I'm good.
Okay, great. All right, let's get back to our lesson. So, we have just found our slope. It is positive 1/3. So, I'm going to go ahead over here where my equation is, and I'm going to just plug that value in. I've got y equals 1/3 x plus b. So I found my slope. What do I need to find next? B. So how can I find b?
With the y equals mx plus b.
Yeah, we're going to use this formula, y equals mx plus b. We've already got our m, our slope. What do we have that we could plug into here?
Subtraction 11.
Yeah, we have 2 coordinates.
And 2 for x.
Good, yeah, so we could choose either one of these. Both of them will work, but I'm going to do what Star suggested. Let's do the 2, negative 11. So my y comes first, so I'm going to look at my y value, and that's negative 11. Negative 11 equals 1/3 times x. What's my x? 2. All right. Plus b. All right. Everybody up to that point? And this coordinate here is where we got those numbers. Sorry, I'll quit moving. Okay, what do we need to do next now that we have everything plugged in?
Multiplication first.
Yeah, we want to do 1/3 times 2. So in our calculator, we would type 1 divided by 3 times 2. That's going to give us 0.6 repeating. So you could either put that as 0.6 or 0.7. I'm not asking you to round this time, so either one I will count as correct. So I'm just going to put 0.7. I'm going to round up. Got 0.7 plus b equals -11. All right, now what do I do?
Subtract 0.7.
Yeah, let's subtract 0.7. We want to get b by itself. Minus 0.7. Those are going to cancel. And I ran out of room. I'm going to write my b over here. What is -11 minus 0.7? Good. B equals -11.7. All right, so we have our slope, we have our b. What's our final equation going to be?
Y equals 1/3 x minus 11.
Perfect. Y equals 1/3 x minus 11.7. That is the equation, guys. Very, very good. Any questions? Yes.
I made a mistake at the very beginning of this one.
Uh-huh.
However, the number I ended up being very, very close anyways.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I swapped around the x and y so and I ended
Oh.
up with 11.76 negative.
Oh, wow. That's really close.
So everything else is almost.
Huh. Well, I guess it still ended up working out. That's all right. Ish. Okay. Any other questions or comments about number 1 before we try number 2? All right, guys. Let's move on to number 2. So in number 2, the problem is we need to write the equation of the line that is parallel to this line above. So it's parallel to y equals 1/3 x minus 11.7. And our new line goes through this point, -6, 1. Okay, and then I gave you a little hint here. First we want to think about what our slope is.
If it's parallel to the one above it, it's the same. isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So our rule for parallel lines is that if a line is parallel, it has the same slope. So we already know what our slope is. What is our slope?
1/3.
1/3. We don't have to even touch it. We already know our slope because of the last problem. So I'm going to keep that to the side. And remember, our steps for solving an equation, or not solving, for writing an equation are find m, find b, write the equation. We just found m. Now let's find our b. How are we going to do that?
We're going to pull it up. First, we're going to label the coordinates.
Yeah, let's label our coordinates. I've got a y and an x.
And then we're going to plug them in.
Yeah, then we're going to plug them in. What are we plugging them into?
Y equals 1/3 x plus b.
Good. We have y equals 1/3 x plus b. And we want to plug our x and y values into this equation. So, go ahead, Star.
1
Mhm.
equals 1/3 x is minus I will never.
You're okay.
Well, at least you know when I say minus, you know.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Okay, so we have now, after plugging in our coordinate values, 1 equals 1/3 times -6 plus b. What should we do first? Yeah, let's multiply. So I am going to do 1 divided by 3 times -6. -2. Perfect. Okay, so let's rewrite our equation. We have 1 equals -2 plus b. Now what do we do? Plus 2. Let's get b by itself. Plus 2. Our 2's cancel, and we get 3 for our b value. All right, we have m, we have b. Let's write the equation. What's it going to be?
Y equals 1/3 x equals 3.
Good. Y equals 1/3 x plus, it's okay, I knew what you meant, plus 3. That is our answer. Any questions on number 2? I know, just because that one slope. I know.
So the slope on the third one will be 3/1.
Almost. Let's talk about it. Okay. Anybody still need number 2, or can we move on? Let's move on. Okay. Number 3 says to write the equation of the line that is perpendicular to the line in question number 1. So that's the first equation you got. So we are working with this equation here. So I'm going to rewrite that original equation under here just so I don't lose track of it. I had y equals, good.
-11.7.
Thank you.
I promise for graduation I will get it right.
Oh, you are fine, Star. That's okay.
But
All
when
right.
I get it right, we'll be out of
So here is our original equation. And we want to find the line that is perpendicular to this. And the new line is going to go through the point 1, 5. Okay, so, yes.
So, we have to use, what's the terminology? Hold on, I want
Anybody remember what we call?
negative reciprocal.
Yes. So whenever we are writing the equation of a perpendicular line, we know that perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. So I'm going to write that here. Negative reciprocal. I know, right? Negative reciprocal slope. So, just a quick review. All negative reciprocal means is we take the original slope, we flip it upside down, so instead of 1/3, it'll be what? 3/1. And then, yes, exactly, we make it negative. So -3, you could put over 1, or we could just know that any number over 1 is a whole number. So our new slope is -3. Okay, we have our slope. What's next?
Gotta find B.
Find your B. So I now have y equals -3x plus b.
So we're gonna plug in.
Yeah, and then we want to plug in the values that they gave us in this coordinate. So I know that my first value is x, my second one is y. So what am I going to write to plug my numbers in?
5 equals -3 times 1.
Plus B.
Good. 5 equals -3 times 1 plus b.
I got it right.
Good. Now, we know that any number times 1 is just going to be itself. We're not going to change it. So I'm just going to get rid of that one and go ahead and move on. If I want to get rid of -3, what do I do?
Plus 3.
Plus 3. Okay, my -3 and my plus 3 cancel. What is 5 plus 3? 8. So I get 8 equals B. I got my M, or my slope, was -3. Now it's time to do what? Write our equation. What's it going to be?
Y equals -3x plus 8.
Awesome. Y equals -3x plus 8. That's it, guys.
So on the slope, on the negative reciprocal, being, when you just looking at it, flipping it, you know to do that. If it's a positive number, it's always negative.
Yep.
And if it's a negative number, it would be positive.
Yes, exactly. We're just switching the sign. If it starts negative, it'll end positive. If it starts positive, it'll end negative. Yes, Erica?
What's funny is I ended up with the same beat.
You did? That is hilarious. Huh. Interesting math. You'll have to show me your work at some point. I'm intrigued. Okay, anybody still need number 3? Anybody? We ready to move on? Okay. Here's what we're doing today, guys. We are going to do some review on parallel and perpendicular lines. And we're going to do word problems today. I know, I don't like word problems at all. At all. But I did you guys a favor. All the word problems on your quiz are bonus points. So if you get them wrong, it's not going to hurt you. Okay. All right. So let's do a couple of these together just for fun. We're going to write the equation of each line using the information that I gave you. So we're going to write the equation of a line that's parallel to y equals x plus 3. And it goes through the point -5, -5. What should we do first?
Plug in,
Plug in. What am I plugging in?
the -5 and the -5. You're gonna label them X and Y.
Okay, yeah, let's label those. Let's do that. We have an X here and a Y here.
Is that plus 3 or B?
Yes, plus 3 is the B of the original equation.
Replace that with B.
Yeah, okay, so now we have, remember, parallel lines mean we don't have to make a new slope. It stays the same. If my equation says y equals x plus 3, what is my slope? 1. It's 1. So just to keep track, I'm going to put 1 for M right here. So now I have y equals x plus b. So let's plug in our x and y values. So both of them are -5. -5 equals -5 plus b. And if x is 1, or sorry, not x, if the slope is 1, we know that -5 is going to stay the same. If our slope is 1, we don't have to write it. Anybody uncomfortable with that?
How did we get 1 again?
So our original equation says y equals x plus 3. Anytime we have a variable with no number next to it, we can assume that it's just 1. Because if I were to ask you, how many x's are here? 1. So there's 1 x.
That's right.
And the number right beside x is our slope. So if you don't see a number, it means our slope is 1. Now, if there was no x, then the slope would be 0. But I'm not asking you one like that. Okay.
Okay.
Is everybody up to this
So
point?
that same equation could be y equals x 3 plus 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's our original equation. So let's find our new equation. What are we going to do?
We're gonna add 5.
Yeah, let's add 5. Now, guys, something really goofy is going to happen in this one, okay? Plus 5 on both sides.
And it cancels out.
Yeah. So -5 and +5 cancel. -5 and +5. Oh.
Cancel.
They also cancel. So really what's happening here is we're getting b equals 0. Yes, Erica?
Instead of square coordinates with a slope line, will have a y-intercept of 0.
You are 1000% correct. Exactly. Exactly. So if we ever have coordinates, let me show you on a graph. If we ever have this, I'll show you what this one looks like on a graph. So here is our X and Y axis. Sorry, that's not very pretty. X. Okay, so we were told that it goes through -5, -5. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes here. And our slope is 1. So I go over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1. I'm doing it backwards, but same thing. Remember, B is our y-intercept. So it's wherever we are touching and crossing the y-axis. And if you can see this here, it hits right at y equals 0 and x equals 0. It's right in the middle. So this is just a visual representation of how we got 0 for B. Because B is our y-intercept. It's just telling us where it's touching the y-axis. Okay, let's now fill this in. I wanted to know what B was, so we're going to write 0 because that's what we got. How do we write our new equation? This one's tricky. You're going to do the exact same thing you always do, though.
Y equals mx plus 0.
Yeah, it's going to be y equals mx plus b. So first of all, what's our m? 1. So we have y equals 1x plus, and what's our b? 0. Okay, so we got y equals 1x plus 0. We can simplify this though. We don't need to write plus 0 because it's you know, negligible information. We just don't need it. We don't need it. It's extra info that we don't need. So now we have y equals 1x. Okay? And we could just put y equals x. Y equals x. That's our equation. It's kind of a goofy looking one, guys. But sometimes slope-intercept form, whenever we get numbers like 1 for slope or 0 for b, it's going to make some of those terms disappear.
Do you think there's going to be any that turn out like this on the...
There will be one that has this exact. There's one with these exact numbers. I'm going to just tell you this question, this one that we just did, is going to look very familiar on your quiz. This exact question. So mark it in your notes. You're going to need it. Okay? Yes, Erica?
So anytime we see y equals x, we can assume m is 1 and 0.
Yes. Yes. Anytime y equals, yeah, you can absolutely assume that. Perfect. Okay. Any questions about number 1? I know this one's a little different than some of the others that we've done, but it's exactly the same. It's just that whenever we don't have a b value, or whenever our b value is 0, we don't have to write it. Same with our slope. If we get a slope of 1, we don't necessarily have to write it. All this tells us is whatever I put in for y, my x value is going to be the same. Okay. Let's look at number 2. I want to find the equation of the line that is parallel to y equals -1/4 x plus 2 and it goes through the point 4, -5. First, let's identify our slope. Parallel lines have what kind of slope? The same. They just have the same slope. Yeah, they have the same slope. So what's the slope of our new line? -1/4. So I'm going to write that over here. Just want to keep track of it. So we have our slope.
So we're gonna plug in R for -5.
Yeah, now we just need to solve for B. So if it helps you to label, you can do that, your X and Y. And then we just want to plug the X and the Y into Y = mx plus B. We're also going to plug that slope in. So Y, that's -5, equals M, what's our slope? -1/4 times X, yeah, so times 4 plus B. Okay, let's do this. What are we doing first here?
We're gonna do -1/4 times.
-1 divided by 4 times 4 is -1. So now we have -5 equals -1 plus B. What's next? Add 1. And what is -5 plus 1? -4 is equal to B. We have our B. So I'm going to write that in over here. Now what do I do?
Y equals -1/4 X -4.
Yes. Y equals -1/4 X minus 4 because we got a negative B value. Good, guys. Any questions about number 2? How do we feel about that? We feel okay? Good. All right.
So if your B is negative, it's never plus at the...
Yes, yes. Because if I were to write Y equals -1/4 X plus -4, we know that when you add a negative, you're just subtracting. So this wouldn't be the simplest form here. I would want you to just write -4. Get rid of that plus. So I'll tell you real quick, the reason that I'm wanting to make sure you guys get some practice with simplifying, let me show you, hang on. Okay, so on your quiz, one of the things that I'm looking for, like, I don't want to give you the exact problem or the answer, I'll cover it up. So it'll say, this is one of your questions. Write the equation of the line that passes through the given coordinate with the given slope. I'm going to be looking to see that you got your slope right. I'm going to look to see that you got your y-intercept right, or your B. I'm going to look to see that you wrote the equation, and I'm going to look to see that it's all simplified. So I don't want to see any plus negative. I only want to see minus if that's what you get. Or for your slope, if you get like 10/5, that would need to be simplified to 2. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Okay, good. So just so you know, that is what I'm looking for this time around. All right. We have one more parallel line that we're going to try together. I would like for you guys to do this one on your own. So I want you to write the equation of the line that is parallel to y equals 2x minus 4, and it goes through the point -3, 10. So I'm going to pause this recording. All right, so let's see how we did. We want to find the line parallel to y equals 2x minus 4, and the new line goes through this point, -3, 10. So, first of all, what's our slope?
2.
2. And what do we have left to find? B. So let's go ahead and find it. What are we going to do?
Plug your numbers in.
Plug your numbers in. So I have an X and a Y. What am I writing?
10 equals 2 times -3.
Good. Plus B. Good. All right. What's 2 times -3? -6. We'll bring it all down. What's our next step? Yep, +6. So B is 16. Good. We have our M, we have our B. Let's write the equation. What's it going to be? Good. Y equals 2x plus 16. Did we all get that? Good.
What did we do with the -4? The 2x -4.
So this is our original equation. In the original equation, all we're taking from it is the slope.
Okay.
Once we have our slope, we're kind of starting from scratch here. Then we're making a whole new deal.
-4 is our original y.
Yeah.
So when our line moved, so did our y.
Exactly. Thank you, Erica. All right, guys, let's move forward. I would like for us to do some practice on perpendicular lines. However, we've got about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to come back to this in just a minute. What I really want to make sure we cover today, especially for the people that cannot be here second half, is our word problems. So let's talk about this real quick. I'm going to run through this example. So whenever we are writing linear equations, it might feel like we're just moving numbers around, doing a whole lot of gibberish. But, you know, in the real world, linear equations can actually be very helpful and very useful. So I'm going to show you what I would do if I wanted to solve something like this. So my problem says, I want to have $10,000 in my bank account. That's my goal. I already have $50. Let's say if I could save $500 every month, how many months will it take me to reach my goal? So whenever we're solving a word problem, there are 3 things that I want you to begin by identifying. So this is important. If you are taking notes, please take notes about this. The first thing we want to identify is our goal. The second thing we want to identify is our starting point. And the third thing we want to identify is the rate. And I'll explain what that means. In parentheses next to rate, I'm going to tell you it's going to be our slope. Yes, Erica?
The answer would be 19.9
All right, let's find out. I'm going to tell you right now you are correct. But let's work it out together. So, first of all, after reading this word problem, what is the goal here? What is my goal? Yeah, my goal is to have $10,000. So I'm going to write for my goal, I want $10,000. What's my starting point? How much do I already have? 50. Okay, so my starting point is 50. And for rate, what I'm trying to find here is how quickly it increases, or how much I can save for each month. So what is my rate according to this problem? Yeah, I can save $500 every month. So for my rate, I'm going to write $500 a month. Now, for problems like these, I really like to show a visual representation. So let me zoom this out a little so we can see the whole paper. And I'm going to show you how this is going to work. So we're going to graph this. I am going to draw a y-axis here and an x-axis here. So here's my y and here's my x. Now, any time that we are talking about real life examples, we always, just as a rule of thumb, we always put our amount of time on the x-axis. So I'm going to say time, and in parentheses I'm just going to say that we're talking about months here, because my question says how many months is it going to take? That's always going to go on the x-axis. The y-axis is going to be whatever we are trying to get to, what's going to be increasing. And we're talking about money here. So my y-axis is going to measure the amount of money I have. So I'm going to write money saved. Okay. So here's our starting point. We're at 0. Let's say 0 time has passed. We haven't had a month yet to save $500. What is our starting point? How much do I already have before I start saving $500 a month? $50. It says that I have $50 already. So my graph is not going to start at 0. My starting point is that $50. So it doesn't matter where I put this point. I'm just going to put it somewhere on there, and I'm going to say that at 0 months, I have $50. So if we were going to label this as a coordinate, I would say x is what?
0.
0.
Y is 50.
And y is 50. Good. Now my goal is to have $10,000. So am I going to be going up to 10,000 on the y-axis or 10,000 on the x-axis?
Y.
The y-axis. The y-axis is telling me money. So I'm going to just put a random point over here. It doesn't have to be an accurate point. I'm just going to say I don't know what my x is. I don't know how many months that's going to take. But eventually my y needs to be $10,000. My y needs to be $10,000. So now let's think about this. I know that every time 1 month passes, I get $500 more. So if we were going to think about this visually, I could say maybe this is 1 month, 2 months, and again, this is not to scale. Okay, so at 0, I have $50. At 1 month, I'm going to have $500 more than that. How much money do I have after 1 month? $550. So again, it doesn't have to be accurate. I'm just going to make a little point. My point is going to be x 1 month, and my y is 550. And when you solve these problems, you're not going to have to necessarily draw this out, but I want to show you visually first, just so that it makes sense. I think it is a little more confusing if we try to just put the numbers in without giving them a meaning. Okay, so we know after 1 month, we'll have $550. So, first of all, we want to write an equation for this. And our equation is always going to be y equals mx plus b. let's look at our line here, or our graph that we've made. We don't have to connect the dots. Let's just look at the dots we've made. Do we know what our B value is? Yeah, remember B is our y-intercept. B is our y-intercept. So it's wherever our line touches the y-axis. And whenever we're touching the y-axis, we have $50. So that means our value for B is going to be 50. So I'm going to write y equals mx plus 50. That's my B. That's my y-intercept. And remember, we can also know that the y-intercept is whatever y is when x is 0. So here we already have that point, 0, 50. All right. Now, what else do we need to find an equation? We just need the slope. And yeah, we already saw here the slope is 500 a month. The slope is just how steep the line is going to get. So y equals 500x plus 50. Okay, so that's our equation. That's our equation. How could we solve to figure out how many months it's going to take to get to $10,000? Here's the coordinate we're trying to find.
You would have to plug in the numbers from like 1 and 550.
You could do that if you were trying to like solve for slope, for example. But remember, what we're trying to find here is how many months will it take to reach my goal of $10,000. Yeah, so we made a point over here where we don't know how many months, but we know that the Y value, the goal of money saved, is going to be 10,000. So we could plug this in to our equation and solve for Y, or not solve for Y, sorry, solve for X. So I have an X that I don't know, and I have a Y. Let's put 10,000 equals 500x plus 50. And just solve for X. So what would I do first?
Minus 500.
Not the 500, because that one's times X.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, we're gonna minus 50.
Yeah, we want to get rid of 50 first. That's all right. So minus 50 on both sides. And that is going to leave us with 9950 equals 500x. And what's our next step? Divide by 500. Okay, my 500s cancel, and I'm left with x equals what? 19.9. So what we just found here is the number of months. So to answer my question, how many months will it take to reach my goal? It'll take 19.9 months. And if you wanted to do the math, I'm not going to ask you to do this, but it's 19 months and 27 days. Almost 20 months. Okay. That one was a lot, guys. Word problems are not my favorite. I'm sure they're not yours either, and that's okay. So, for today, I would like your exit ticket to be just number 1 right here. I want you to practice this perpendicular line, okay? And on Monday, we're going to go over the practice quiz. If you can't be here Monday, I will have it posted on YouTube. Okay.